Modern women are running straight into the wall of loneliness.
So just so my friends are clear, I have officially reached the age where I will return your 10:30 p.m. text at 6:05 tomorrow morning.
Modern women did everything they could to capture and have the essence of power they thought would make them happy by working the corporate ladder up until their 40s, but realized a little too late that they had a natural need to nurture families, settle down, have a loving relationship with men, and become good mothers. And now that they've been inundated with feminist doctrine, they can't even confess that they should have taken the conventional route and lived in accordance with their feminine nature.
What do you look for in a guy?
Any guy, as long as he's taller than 6 feet, I'll find him hot. Funny, weird and goofy, can cook/feed me, ambitious and motivated, hygienic and clean, social and friendly, has been in a relationship before, good shoe game. Should I keep going? It's like long. Okay.
How about new?
Has other interests that aren't just sports. Seriously, like fuck off with the golf. Would live within a few hours from my family in the future. This was a big issue in my last relationship. Non-smoker, but I'm a hypocrite. Close with family, thoughtful, likes to try new things and actively makes plans, hiking, going on dates, movies, etc. Likes good music/same taste of music as me, Kid Cudi specifically.
Talk about lame.
Interest with my career, doesn't get jealous about anything, doesn't keep me from any plans, will do what I want and they can't have a problem with that. I'll do what I want and they can't have a problem with that, but that's a given.
Right.
Makes an effort to meet my friends, likes animals, arm muscles, tattoos, Italian is a bonus, and has sisters.
Sisters. Huge. Biggest green flag in guys if he has an older sister.
Night, like,
yeah,
seriously.
biggest green flag in guy if he has an older sister.
All right, enough is enough, boy!
For men, navigating the minefield of being expected to initiate all interactions while not being awkward, while being irrationally confident and outgoing, while trying not to weird a woman out for qualities that make you unique despite those qualities, while being fairly common and normal, and while trying to simultaneously be respectful of consent, the list just goes on and on and on and never seems to stop. The majority of young men do not earn the kind of money that most women dream of, nor do they check all the boxes on women's unrealistic lists. It's hard to live your own life while being on guard against losing someone's transitory interest, who is deliberately seeking any conceivable red flag to give an excuse to ghost you.
And if a guy I really liked called me up and said, hey, come over and give me a blumpkin, I would say abso-fucking-lutely. And if you wouldn't say that to a man that you really liked, then you need to grow up.
I believe there is a propensity to downplay how harsh dating is for young men in today's society. Hitting the wall is one thing, but the fact that women don't even realize why that is a problem for the majority of women is another. And that's something women might want to look at. So, when women hit the age where they've had all their fun and know that they'd soon be hitting the wall, that's the time when you hear them say, well, I wish to reconnect myself to God. I'm trying to make amends with myself. I would like to meet a decent guy. Or, they start yapping like the woman in the first clip.
I think it might be time to normalize being single and alone.
Can we start normalizing being single?
No one prepares you for the loneliness that you feel in your 20s.
So a lot of ex-supermodels, a lot of top-tier women are...
Two things. One, why do women need something to be normalized? If they're hitting the wall, then that needs to be normalized. If they're lonely, that needs to be normalized as well. If they're getting pumped and dumped by Chads and Tyrone, that needs to be normalized. Why can't they just face reality? The difference between men and women when it comes to loneliness. Men internalize and accept their condition with stoicism. Women normalize, make excuses and deny the truth in a perpetual state of emotional immaturity.
Pretty girls are often loneliest most.
I'm 33, turning 34 next month, and I'm just fucking done dating.
We need to normalize being young and being single.
Something I had to learn is that it's okay to admit that
It's like everyone else has to do something or accept something if they are doing it. Instead of improving themselves, they need to drag everyone else down. Second, as a man who experienced true loneliness as a young man, I realize these women are whiners who have options, but they always want more and better, and if they can't get it, would rather have the spotlight and pity party pay attention to their not getting everything they want, rather than on men who cannot even get what they need.
I think it might be time to normalize being single and alone. I'm really sick of people making it sound like, you know, in order to be happy, like in your future and everything else, you have to find your person, because people will be like, oh, don't worry, you'll find someone eventually, or something along those lines. And it's like, okay, but it's okay if I don't also. And by you saying that kind of makes me feel worse about not finding someone. And like, I shouldn't. Like, it's absolutely okay. Some people don't find their person in life. A lot of people don't, and I feel especially nowadays with the way things have changed. So maybe let's just, you know, get rid of the stigma that you have to be with someone and just embrace being single, because it's...
Some things are just universal with women. And I'll say this again. It's something that I tell guys every time. Women overspend, live paycheck to paycheck, and have so much emotional baggage that their ability to attach as a couple is permanently lost.
Being in your late 20s is so hard. I've seen a few people talk about this and just kind of the loneliness of your late 20s, and especially people who are kind of in this middle stage of, hey, I'm not married, don't have kids, not in a relationship, but I'm also not going out every weekend. I spend a lot of my time by myself. I live alone. I come home from work, I go to the gym, I spend my evenings alone. And on the weekend lately, I feel like I've been so exhausted that all I want to do is like spend time by myself. And I'm struggling with questions about work. You know, am I passionate about what I'm doing? Am I good at it? Should I be traveling right now and not working? Or should I be trying to work remotely so that I can travel? Like, there's just all these things that I think I would like to experience, and it's hard to know, well, when am I going to experience those things?
They turn to antidepressants and other legal drugs like alcohol and cigarettes when they are in their mid-30s and early 40s, and have trouble finding a man who truly wants them as a mate. However, this does not imply that men pay them no attention. Some males will thirst for any woman out there, no matter what sort they are. She becomes more manly the more marriages and children she has.
So, up until recently, I really thought that this idea of ghosting people was a Gen Z thing. And then I got ghosted by a 30-year-old, and I thought, this is very confusing. I thought we were adults. I didn't think we were still in middle school or even high school. I didn't think we were doing that. I'm just wondering, is it just like a lack of decency for other human beings? A couple years ago, I went on a couple dates with this guy, and I wasn't feeling it, and I was like, I just don't think this is gonna work, you know, but he was a good guy, and I was like, he deserves communication. And so I made the phone call because he had asked, he wanted to take me out to a really nice dinner, and I was like, oh, I just can't have him spend that much money on me when I don't see it moving forward. And I just said, hey, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoy you as a person. I really don't see this going anywhere. I thought that that's what adults do, you know? Anyway, so it's no shock that I was surprised.
If I had to sum up how the remaining women think, I'd say ideology triumphs over biology. They ridicule guys, demonize them, and treat them with total disdain. Here are a few additional facts in case they still need them. When women have over 10 intimate partners, their desire to get married to a man is little more than a last-ditch effort. Pair bonding is virtually impossible, and research indicates that she probably contains seed from several guys. A 30-year-old woman needs to look ahead for her own security if you look at her. But you'll also realize that for women nowadays, the average age of the first marriage is approximately 28 to 29. It takes roughly 2 years longer for guys.
I've been single a year and a half now, but I took an entire year to not date guys, to not have sex with guys, to not talk to guys, to not even interact with guys. They were fucking canceled. They were off limits. We didn't associate with the male species. But now we're like, okay, we're gonna step back out into the dating pool again. Started that about like 6 months ago. But because I took a whole year to focus on myself, establish my worth, understand what my wants and my needs are for a future relationship, I'm able to articulate that so well with men now, and I honestly don't think it's possible for a man to fucking play me or disrespect me or screw me over, because the moment that happens, I'm out. There is not a second chance. One fucking strike and you are out, baby. Like, And that's how women need to be. Know your fucking worth and what your standard is. If a guy is not meeting your standards because you don't fucking know what you actually need or require, figure that shit out before you're fucking starting to date guys. You need to understand what you need before you're dating. Unless you're just going out there to fuck, then go do your thing, get fucked. But if you're actually like looking for something in the future, I'm not saying right now, I'm not saying you need a commitment, you need the ring fucking within a month, but like if long term you're like, yeah, my goal and my intention with dating is to be married. Okay, what do you want in a relationship? What are you looking for in a man? What value do you need from yourself? What your fucking standards look like? Figure that shit out, babe, or you're gonna keep getting fucked over by men. They're gonna keep disrespecting you. You're gonna keep ending up in the situation where you're on TikTok crying over these damn fucking men. And I don't want to see it anymore. Because couldn't fucking be me ever again. And I don't want it to be you.
Recently started dating somebody and you're not really sure where they stand, you know, maybe they go days and days and days without texting you, you have to initiate first, you're not really like putting in that much effort, but you've gone on a bunch of dates, they act like they like you when you're in person, you don't really know how to get their attention or how to like move it and progress it to the next stage. Here's what you're gonna do. Could I sit here and give you tips and tricks on how to get their attention and sort of like regain control of the situation? Absolutely. Am I gonna do that? Absolutely not, because this is something that I wish someone would have told me. Sorry, I got a phone call, so it cut out. But this is something I wish I knew a lot earlier. I wish someone had said to me just like point blank, so I'm gonna say it to you guys. Use people's actions as a filtration system. What do I mean by that? If someone isn't reaching out, if they're not putting in that much effort, like I hate to be the one to tell you, but you're just not a priority to them. And why would you want someone? Why would you want to manipulate or gain control of the situation or whatever to someone who can't do something just as simple as prioritizing you, like at all? To me, that just shows this person either isn't ready for a relationship or they're just not that into you. Now, I know these things aren't fun to hear, but in the long run, if you use people's actions as a filtration system, you will not waste your time on people who are not worth investing in. These people who aren't investing in you, stop investing in them. Like, they aren't worth it. So we don't want to convince people of our worth. Like, you should never have to do that, because if it doesn't end next week, it's just gonna end eventually anyways. I promise you, babe, that is not your person.
If he messed up, if he's done something wrong, if he hurt you, talk less. If he doesn't message you and you're wondering what's going on with him, so you're sending him paragraphs, talk less. Talk less. See, this is the difference between the good girl and that girl. That girl never explains herself, never explains her value, never explains her worth, never over-explains a man what he's done wrong. She will let him know. And this happens energetically. Look at all the famous girls in movies that are made to be out that bitch, that girl. Look at them. Look at their characteristics. Do they ever sit there crying, begging for men to understand them? No. They walk away and cut off anyone who's not serving them or living up to their standards. The moment he hurt you and messed up, and you over and over explain how much it hurt you and how much he needs to change, you give all your power away and look like a clown. So here's my advice. Leave a very brief comment and then leave. Don't give your power away. Don't play all your cards. Let him feel the consequences of his actions. Let him sit there scratching his head. If he's a smart man and he's already emotionally attached to you, he will eventually figure it out and come back chasing you. If he's not emotionally invested, good for you, you dodged a bullet. You are welcome.
In the United States, it is currently about 30 or 31. But at that point, it's no accident that the average age of the first marriage starts to rise just as things start to change. How convenient for women. Have all the fun that you want to have, and then just when you're about to hit the wall, redeem yourself in front of God and society and start over.
Men need to feel some sort of pressure in order to want to settle down. Whereas women feel that kind of pressure all the time. We get it from society, we get it from our families. It's like, when are you settling down? When are you having kids? When are you actually going to take someone seriously? It's like, first of all, you have no fucking idea what the dating scene is like right now. Oh, well, your biological clock is ticking. You're getting older. What are you gonna do? Shut the fuck up. Type of pressure for a man is completely different. It has nothing to do with their fucking biological clocks. In fact, they have all the time in the world to just take it slow, take it step at a time, and then they get to that like 38 years old and they're like, maybe I should start looking around. What is the type of pressure that men feel? Hear me out. I have noticed that men are so cool with just being with their friends and like being a guy's guy, going on trips with their guys, meeting new girls, whatever. But the second their friend group starts to settle down, that pressure becomes on, because who the fuck is he gonna go to Ibiza with? The first one, their peer group starts to settle down. Number two, they have gotten to the point in their lives where their career's in order, their finances are in check. They just want to add into their lives. I want to start having kids. I want to have a family. I want to add into my life. And that's when their green light goes on, the green light theory, if you've heard of it, where first available girl that they like, they'll settle down with. And number three, he meets the love of his life. Girl that actually changes his world around. Maybe he's not even mentally in the right space. Maybe he's not even like financially in the right space of where he wants to be, but he will become the person that he needs to be to lock this girl down, because the thought of this girl being with any other guy is eating him up inside.
That's when they've got to fly straight, and that's when women are looking for a guy. It's time for the bad guys against the dads. The exciting guys that they had fun with in their past, and then the reasonable, boring, and financially stable guys who can be the father of their children. It's just something to think about. By the time they're 23, they think they're the queens of the world, and spend the next 7 years in paradise with their Chads and Tyrones. But as soon as they come close to hitting the wall, all hell breaks loose, and they completely change their perspective in life. And the panic really does set in when they're 29. And this transitioning phase is undoubtedly tough on women, because they realize that their part is almost over, and they're never going to have the sort of fun they've been having for the last couple of years. Like when they go to a club and have all guys swooning over them, they can't have that. A woman in her mid-30s can dress as much as she wants, or barely, and no one will really care, compared to one who's in her prime in her early 20s. They're literally at the SMV peak at that age. And the irony is that when these women grow old, and if you hear them talking about this stuff, they will say things like, "Oh, I would have never partied in my 20s. I would advise every girl to be God-fearing and stay away from the bad boys because they are bad news." And I can bet you that if they get asked out by a Chad or Tyrone the next day, they'll go out with him. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.